So welcome to today's Greater Life CoffeeCast. And I have been dusting off my sales skills, sales training as I help a friend build out their sales process. And it's really allowed me to connect with a couple of things. One is some really outstanding sales training that Alex Hormozy has put onto the internet, courtesy of his more than 4,000 sales that he's done. And I've really enjoyed how he's distilled down some of the core principles that I will share with you later in this CoffeeCast. And it has also reminded me of something that I hold really dear, which is the principle, the idea that selling is an act of love. And so let me break that one down for you first. Because we human beings are evolutionarily encoded to resist change. Meaning that when you are trying to get someone to see that the thing you've got for them could be amazing, could change their life in some way. It could be something very small, like you've made an amazing t-shirt and you know that when they wear your t-shirt, they're going to love it and they're going to get admiring remarks and they're going to feel great, okay? But maybe they need some help to see that. Right through to you've designed an educational program that can upskill them and give them the kinds of skill set that can mean they can earn more money and feed their family more fully, go on amazing holidays, do all that incredible stuff, right? And you know you've got something that can do that. Well, because we are hardwired to resist saying yes to that amazing thing, however big or small it is. What it means is that if you genuinely have something that can make a difference, there is an argument that says you have a moral obligation to sell it. That is that to sell the thing, not to just hope that someone will buy because you've done it so well, right? That will happen. But for those who need some convincing, who need to have their hand held as they are walked over the evolutionary hump in the road that says, resist change. For those people, selling is an act of love. Because in helping them to break free of the inertia of resistance to change, then you are helping to open up new possibilities in their lives. And so that's the principle or the frame that I would offer to begin with. And particularly among those of us who perhaps are offering something creative, something artistic, it tends to be more rife. Sales can be seen as a bit of a kind of icky thing, right? So my hope is that in hearing that frame of reference, that selling is an act of love, that perhaps it begins to remove some of that ickiness. And, this links to an idea I've shared in the past, I think on an article I wrote on LinkedIn, which is that marketing is a profoundly spiritual act. And it is how you let the world know that you have this incredibly powerful thing available. And that any resistance that may occur for you in marketing that, there is your spiritual growth. And so we can see in this light, in this context, that entrepreneurship as a whole becomes not just a powerful way of mutual benefit for problem solving. That is that you solve a problem and the market rewards you with a fair price for that problem solving. Actually, that there very much is a spiritual, evolutionary, whatever you want to call it, angle to be had when we explore entrepreneurship. because selling is an act of love. Marketing is spiritual. And we can say that to truly show up and claim a personal brand is one of the most profound acts of leadership in our modern age. So that is a little pre-frame for this little dive into selling. And I promise to share you the kind of framework I've really been appreciating from Alex Hormozi. And he really is someone who thinks about business in a way that is very rare, and he has the results to back it up. And so, it really got me paying attention, because selling is something that I've found quite easy when I really believe in what I'm selling. And what I now understand is that because I was convicted, that ultimately the more conviction you have about what you are offering, the more someone else will be convicted that you can deliver. AKA, they will trust you, and therefore they will invest in what you're offering. And so the framework I've been looking at most closely is from Alex Hormozi, is around how he closes sales. And this is where, again, we can come into that entrepreneurship is actually, there is a spiritual element to it, because he talks about there being typically 3 layers of reasons why people might object to buying from you. The first he looks at is circumstances, and that might be, I don't have enough time right now, or it's, I don't have the money. Okay. And both of those are external circumstances. All right. And he explores ways in which those can be overcome and explored, ranging from, talking about priorities and, how we can explore the pain of change versus the pain of staying the same, and laying out how we think about value, offering some reframes about how we think about value, so that the money question can become much less of a significant factor. So circumstances is the first reason why people might object. And Alex Hormozi gives the frame that all of these are ways in which people give away their power. And so I'll finish up the 3 ways, and then I'll speak to that, because it speaks to this idea of entrepreneurship as a spiritual endeavor. So circumstances is the first way that people might object and give away their power from making a decision. Then deferring to the authority of others. So I need to speak to my husband, wife, business partner, parent. And then finally, they will, because they don't believe in themselves in some way, because there is some kind of core challenge or wound going on, they will avoid making the decision. They will say, I just need more time. Even if you've laid out everything, they'll still and ah, because they are afraid to change. All change is daunting. So each of these 3 ways that people might avoid or object to saying yes and moving forward with you, blaming circumstances, blaming others, and blaming themselves, are doorways into them emerging from a conversation with you with a deeper understanding of themselves and their limiting beliefs. Okay? And if you can help them to understand this, then whether they choose to buy from you or not, you have served them. Right? You have helped them to make a decision not from a place of blindly blaming others, but from a place of power, because they truly know themselves and what they're about. And hence, selling is an act of love. Because when they can see that actually right now they are being unloving to themselves in how they are choosing to spend their money, and that if they invested that money in what you're offering, they would get a much greater result than how they are currently spending their time. When you can help them see that it is not permission they are asking for from others, rather support, And that if they carry on going through life, deferring to others for their decision making, ultimately what will happen is they will begin to resent those others and therefore create less love in their worlds, rather than saying, actually, this is a decision for me and I'm asking for your support. And then when they can connect with the idea that whatever reason they have for being afraid of moving forward, afraid that they may fail, afraid that they're not good enough to do the program, afraid that they failed in the past, all of these, to help them to see that the decision to make a decision is an act of coming into their power. And that single act of coming into their power can begin a series of momentum that changes all the things they may have been afraid of in terms of how they blame themselves. And so I hope you can see in this quick outline of some principles and then some high-level tactics that when we talk about selling, we are not talking about something that is manipulative or icky, but something that is profoundly loving and can be a source of profound power to both the person who is having the sales conversation with you and to you yourself. So, going forward today, how might things change in your business when you adopt the principle, the knowledge, the mantra that selling is an act of love?